Would you evaluate what you saw from your offense this past week against Army?
Well, the positives there, JJ, were we ran the ball better. We took care of the ball. I'm just kind of giving you a laundry list here, down the line. We've had first downs. We had close to 400 yards, and all that really doesn't matter because we didn't score enough, and that's the negatives of it. We just didn't score enough. And ultimately, it's our job to score one more point than the other football team that we play, no matter what that looks like. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get that done. And so, we had a trip in the red zone there late in the fourth quarter, in the middle of the fourth quarter, I should say, that, we left, you get inside the 10-yard line, first to go on the 9, and we come away with no points. And obviously, we could have kicked a field goal there, but that wasn't the play in the game. We needed 7 points, and so we had 4 downs to score from the 9. We didn't get it in. Didn't do a good job of having our guys prep for that situation and the play call, we just didn't execute what you need to. So those were the overall negatives. We just didn't get that done. But there were some positives, and we made some strides in the right direction.
How difficult has it been with the quarterback situation, having, at this point, 4 guys miss, and there's no consistency there. And how do you work around that?
Well, honestly, the way that we prepared for the year with COVID, and from Jump Street, we had, realized as a coaching staff under Jeff's leadership that this year was going to be unlike any other year before. And now, our position has not necessarily been ravaged by COVID, but it's been more injury based. But the mindset was the same, I think that helped us prepare for what's happened, to be honest with you, to the guys and the players to stay focused, to know that even if they may be listed 4th, it's they're a couple plays away from being 1. So now you got a situation where we've got 2 guys that, were 5th and 6th a few weeks ago that are now, in preparation for the game, getting reps in the game plan. So, what we've told them has held true, but, sometimes kids don't listen, and sometimes adults don't listen either. Adults don't listen either, but we tried to tell them to be ready like a season like none other, and it's certainly held it's held its end of the deal on that. So it just is what it is. It's the way we prepared, and it's the hand that we've been dealt. The most disappointing, or the most difficult thing about it all is 2 young men have, had injuries that have significantly affected their season. And that's tough at any position. You hate to see that.
Greg, you're up.
Barry, when you talk about the quarterback situation, how confident are you that Frank Harris is 100% healthy and ready to go at full speed this weekend?
I'm 100% confident that he's 100%. So if that makes it 200%, then I'll go with 200% sure that he's healthy and ready to go.
Do you think we'll see him be a bit more effective this week compared to against Army, just by virtue of getting the first team snaps through the week? How beneficial?
Sure. When you put the bulk of a prep snaps on a guy, and he gets them ready, and a guy that's played as much football and good football that Frank's done, I think he'll benefit greatly from that. Tough situation to come in the fourth quarter, and your first play is a pass in the red zone. He did a really good job of executing that. And then, but yeah, to be able to settle in for the week and the plan and build it around him, and know exactly, what we're going to see and how we're going to attack it. He'll be ready to go, and I'm anxious to watch him play.
How ready are Sudden Sapien and Cam Peters, should they be called upon? What have you seen from those guys?
Well, I think you've seen certainly guys crank up their intensity and their preparation, which is a great learning lesson, because you got to have the same intensity no matter what, and that's a challenge when you're 5th or 6th and a coach is telling you, man, you got to be ready. You got to prepare like you're the guy. Human nature makes that very difficult. And so I think now they've gotten a taste of what a week preparation feels like, looks like, should be like, and they'll grow from it. And they've shared reps this week, and both guys are ready to go in the game. And if need be, and if it comes to that, then we'll just keep calling plays and let them go execute the best that they can.
I know you've mentioned that you preached the idea of needing to be ready and that preparedness, but do you think the offense overall would be in a better place or a different place if you had consistency through the year at quarterback? Jeff has talked about how some continuity there would really help you guys.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's just, I think that's just probably it's hard to say that it wouldn't help. It's hard to say that no, that wouldn't make any difference. Yes, I think it would have made a difference for continuity, consistency for just all players, just even the snap count, just as something as easy as the snap count. And you get used to hearing one guy's voice over and over again. And then you change a guy and he has a different voice inflection or a tone in his voice. Just something that simple can disrupt you at times. But yeah, in hindsight, as they say, it is truly 2020. And, that's a great saying. I've used that. I mean, we've all heard it, but it could be more true, right? You look back and say, man, if we'd have just had this, or we could have done this. And that's the way life is. That's the way football is. We hadn't had that. So we hadn't spent a lot of time digesting or trying to study, man, if we would have had continuity, would we be better, or would we have done this? And it's just been one of those years. And I'm proud of the resiliency of our team and our players and our coaching staff. And I think we're ready to put our best foot forward this week, Greg.
The other place that Jeff said that continuity might help is on the offensive line, and we saw a lot of shuffling there against Army. How did you feel about how the group played on Saturday?
Handled it well. Coach Maddox, and with the help of Coach Gatson and Coach Kurt Traylor, have they've done a really good job of kind of doing what we talked about. Hey, man, you got to be ready, next man up. And there has been some shuffling around, at that position. And, I think we played, 10 or 11 guys maybe, I think, up front. And there's just been a few guys that have been really the steady force behind that. So, one of the challenges there, we try to continue to be simple in our plan, and so we can get a high volume of reps for whoever the one or two guy. And it is truly a next man up mentality. And the guys that have stepped up have all done some really good things, and we have created more depth that way. So that's been one of the real positives about it.
Do you think we'll see the same group there this week as last week, or did you maybe learn some things or see some things that led to maybe moving some guys around or making a couple changes?
Yeah, I think you should see the same guys out there to begin with. In the way we settled in during the game. Obviously, Mock is a steady force for us, and Kevin Davis at guard, and Josh Otis has done a nice job at tackle, and I think Makai has really matured as a player, and not matured. He's mature. He's starting to really, really play at a high level, and that's been encouraging. So. We'll just keep putting the best five that gives us the best chance to win for that immediate game day. It may, with this COVID testing and all the other things, you never know what it's going to look like until you actually get to game day. So, but I would anticipate it not being drastically different than what it was.
Hey, JJ.
We saw Zakari have a big game for you guys this past week. Was that a function of just what the defense was giving you guys, or is he just playing that well for you guys?
Well, he's playing well, and it was a function of we went into the game plan trying to attack the outside lanes. We knew that they were going to play soft coverage on the perimeter, and so he certainly did a nice job. I think 12 catches, and could have, like I told him, could have had 15 or 16 of them. Not that they were on him. There was a couple of times we had the opportunity to get it to him, and we didn't maybe end up getting it to him on the right read or whatnot. And there was one that was bobbled, and so but certainly he's really made a big impact on us offensively. He's just a natural football player, and we talked at length about that on this call before. And he, same production I think he did last year, similar production as far as just being a football player. He gets it. He's natural. Can he improve in some areas? For sure he can. We all can. And we got to continue to press him and coach him and hopefully feature him, and he can continue to be a playmaker for us.
We saw Sincere McCormick have another strong game. He kind of started off strong, and then he had a solid fourth quarter. Was that kind of the plan coming in? Do you have to kind of game plan and try and when you get him the ball, or is that just the ebb and flow of the game?
No, we pre-plan like our openers. And so we pre-pick, 6 plays that we feel good about based on the situation of the game to try to create balance and take a look formationally about maybe how they're going to play us during the week. And, that's kind of – he got off to a great start, made a great runner line, blocked up. I mean, they covered him up perfectly on the first play of the game. And then when you do that, he's talented enough that he's going to get to the third level. I mean, he just is. And but I thought, my personal opinion was that was the best I've seen him run this year. Obviously, it wasn't his most productive statistical game. It'll be hard to surpass what he did in game one. from that perspective. But he really ran well. I mean, he ran hungry, he ran low, he created some things on his own, and I think he's really getting in game shape. He's coming into full stride, and we're going to continue to feature him and get him the ball more.
Okay, Greg.
When Jeff was talking to us about Zakari, he said that he's seen defenses sort of defending you guys different through the year, that there's more respect for the downfield passing game as time goes on. Have you seen a shift there, and how does that impact, play calling and how you guys approach things?
Well, one of the things that we want to be balanced, and if you look statistically, we're fairly balanced as far as just the production through the air and through the on the ground. I guess you don't go through the ground, you go on the ground, but it's each game has had its own ebbs and flows. There's been times where they've loaded the box and we were able to, like Middle Tennessee, where we're able to get the ball down the field, on the outside lanes. There's been times where they've softened up on the outside lanes and we've been able to run the ball. So it's a little bit of a cat and mouse game always, schematically going against defenses. But having him and Josh Cephas on the outside lanes gives us a balanced look in itself. Does that make sense? I mean, we've got a guy on the right and on the left that we have proven that they can win. Doesn't mean they win every play or every down, but just means they've proven that they can make plays and they've been consistent. And when you do that, then they have to honor those things, and it helps your run game. And on the flip side, we've proven that times we can run the ball, which at times makes you, make them load the box a little bit to create those one-on-ones that are lower percentage throws, farther away, the ball's in the air longer, those types of things. So, it's Zakari's play and Josh's play and all of our wideouts have really helped us, I think, establish some guys out there that we can throw the ball to and make plays with.
Do you feel like your offense has an issue with penalties, or is it just kind of isolated incidents that pop up here and there week to week?
There's certainly too many of them. It's been a problem. I shouldn't say a problem. There's been games where it hadn't been a problem. There's been moments in games where it has been a problem. And so those are the self-inflicted wounds that we talk about all the time. We had 3 penalties last week on second, one on second one on third, and one on fourth and one. Now, actually on fourth and one, it got called against them for simulating our snap count, which it makes it hard. It makes it hard on the lineman. It's third and one. It's fourth and one. You got to get leverage. You got to get ready to roll off the ball. And then you hear some movement, that's not making a soft bed for our guys, because we have to focus more in those critical situations. We can't afford, we're committing. I think we're converting like 85% of our third and ones this year, as opposed to 45% on third and 6. So when you have a pre-snap penalty and it goes from third and 1 to third and 6, you just cut your percentages of getting the conversion in roughly, well, I guess it would be half. And so we made a big deal about that. We can't have those self-inflicted wounds, whether they are pre-snap or post-snap. Coach talks about it all the time. The during snap plays, those are going to happen some. You're going to get called for holding sometimes. We don't teach it, but sometimes in the heat of the battle, you're going to get twisted, torqued, and you're going to get called for holding. And we don't want to do those. We want to eliminate those penalties as well. But the pre-snap and the post-snap that we can control, we just can't have them for us to win football games and be an effective offense. And we continue to harp on that on a daily and a weekly basis.
And how are the guys holding up physically this week? There's been a lot of talk from Jeff about the grind of the season and the impact that's had. What have you seen from the group just in terms of their physical readiness to keep going through the year?
Are you talking about the offensive coaches staff, or are you talking about
well, that's
okay.
More on the
we're doing good. I mean, I've been doing bench press some during the day to stay ready and do my squats, but no, I think our guys have done a really good job of Philo and his staff, Ryan Philo and his staff, and Nick, and our training staff. They work tirelessly to keep those guys fresh, and I think our guys are taking good care of their bodies. The game, it's a physical game, and it's a mental and physical toll on you through the season with no open date and playing a really tough physical brand of football that we try to play, and the opponents that we play too. And so, it's kind of like the COVID deal. It's kind of like the injuries. It is what it is. And we're trying to help them out in practice. Today we did a few things, to try to help lighten that load a little bit. But the fact of the matter is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are work days. Now, one of the things I like about the way the schedule's set up this week is it's a night game. So that instead of a morning game, and you wouldn't think that would make that much of a difference, but having a few extra hours sleep and recovery on Saturday that can make a big difference. So I think that's in our favor for the ball to be kicked off a little bit later in the evening time to help us recover a little bit.
Yeah, Jeff said you guys took the pads off Thursday last week, and yesterday he said you'd be doing the same thing for practice today. How much of an impact can that make overall?
Well, I don't know. It seems like the guys, like not carrying the weight of the pads. Maybe they like not having to smell the pads either. That's a nice break just to change the scenery for your, your upper lip, so to speak. So you don't have to wear those nasty pads some. And, but no, for real, I think just having the light spider pads for protection, it gives them a little extra hop in their step. And I think they appreciate it greatly. They moved around pretty well today. And so we kind of got a combination between physical and mental work today. A little physical, being smart about how you use your hands and whatnot, because we're not in full shoulder pads. But I think all in all, they've received it well, and I think it's been a good thing for our team.